And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski, here with Cyrus Jirongo. Watch out for this name. It's been a while since he did an interview. It's been a while since he hit the political scene, up until about a month ago at Jacob Juma's funeral. But this man was there at the forefront of the advent of multi-party democracy. 1992, remember YK? This was the man. And he still has ambitions, maybe, to be president. He says in 2022, if he ran, he would beat anyone else, including Deputy President William Ruto, hands down. Tweets coming in very thick and very fast. Keep tweeting at Cyrus Jirongo, at Koinange Jeff. Use the hashtag Jirongo. And there's a tweet you just read that said, Jirongo and Ruto are frenemies. Is that what it says? Someone say they're frenemies.
I was trying to find out what it means.
It's like,
let me tell you.
Yes.
There are things you'll admire about William Ruto. Very hardworking. But his vision of leadership is what I disagree with totally. But hardworking, yes, he's hardworking.
Yeah.
He's a teetotaler, he doesn't drink. Too much energy. Advantages. But his vision of leadership is different from mine.
Yeah. When he was your Kanda Yamoko, or whatever you want to call it, when he was there, did you see that? Did you see that work ethic back then?
No, if you looked at William Ruto, anybody would admire him. He's quick at understanding what you're doing, and he gets everything correct. And he delivers. And let me tell you, he can be very persistent until it is done. Those are qualities. Those are good qualities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you talked to him last, did you look at him in the eye? Did you...
Surely, looking at the eye, we talk, we look at each other.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a big deal. He's much younger than I am.
Yeah.
President Uhuru is my age mate. We will talk freely.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have those impediments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you talk to the president. I mean, you have access to him. Other,
I have a way of reaching the president if I have to pass my message. Yeah. Equally, I have a way of reaching William Ruto if I have to pass my message.
Moving forward, you talked about IABC and what needs to be done in order to restore confidence. The Supreme Court, Dr. Willie Mutunga, CJ, gone. Two of his justices, gone.
Yes.
So it's like down to almost 50%.
Yeah, first of all, let me surely congratulate Dr. Willie Mutunga. Willie Mutunga had a year to go, slightly less than a year maybe. He decides, let me step down early to allow smooth transition, so that in the event after the next election there is a presidential petition, there will be a team in office that can listen to it. If he had waited until the expiry of his term, would have had a very short time to put an office in place. That is not all that I can congratulate Dr. Mutunga for. He also bestowed honor on that office. And it is my hope that whoever takes over that office improves on what Dr. Mutunga did. And one man who had a case fighting with NSF over my houses in South B, a case lodged in 1993. Over 20 years, I had never had a hearing date. Dr. Mutunga gave me an opportunity to be heard and get it determined. The law courts we are dealing with today are not the law courts we dealt with yesterday. And I just want to hope that shall be enhanced. Law courts previously were used to settle.
So 23 years? 23 years?
23 years, yeah. I just got an opportunity to be heard, and the matter concluded. So Mutunga did his bit. I'm just hoping that the Judicial Service Commission takes seriously their work, do an independent, truthful, and fair assessment of those that are supposed to occupy the 3 vacant offices, and that they do appreciate we've come from very far, where courts were used to settle political scores, where courts were used to frustrate people. I'll give you an instant. The case just that I just had finalized. One day, it was before a judge. The judge was perceived not to be politically correct. And one of the clerks just walked in and picked the file and went. And the matter couldn't be heard. This has changed. And Judicial Service Commission has an onerous task on their shoulders to ensure that due process and fairness and truthfulness will be the hallmark of the exercise they're just about to undertake.
Yeah.
I like that process, and I think we should go through the same process where Kenyans are given an opportunity to participate in whoever is going to run that coveted office.
Do you have anyone in mind? Any one person?
I think after we've seen those that have done the applications,
Yes.
with the little experience we have, we might be able to comment, and we'll also be able to give our views.
Do you think we're going to have a reconstituted outfit in the next 3-4 months? You think?
It is necessary that the Judicial Service Commission moves with speed, but speed must not mean abdication of strictness and adhering to professional ethics in the process of hiring those that will fill those 3 officers. Yes.
Do you see the next election going to a runoff, going to the Supreme Court, going into a dispute?
It's in the hands of Uhuru. It depends on how he runs the show between now and next election. Totally in his hands.
Is it his to lose?
It is his to lose, in my view. He has an opportunity. Today, he just cracked 1, and if cracked 3 or 4, would be going somewhere, and he would be going somewhere. He made peace with the teachers. Something that the teachers believe in is credible, is truthful, and they have all agreed. Teachers had sworn that they will not, at whatever at any cost, give Jubilee an opportunity. And remember, teachers is a huge number. They have serious influence. What he just did with teachers, he needs to be a hands-on man, at least for the next 14 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said about in 1993 there was a assassination attempt on you. Are you worried today? When you speak up, when you speak openly about this person and that person, does it worry you? Do you fear?
I have my phone here, Jeff. There is a message I would love you to read. Then I'll explain that message. This message was sent to my daughter, Sally, on the 2nd of June.
Wewe ujichunge sana hiyo mdomo yako, na ukishindwa tutakuonyesha kuizima. Sisi hatuogopi hata kidogo.
On 1st of June,
Juzi,
this month's June, my daughter Sally was on Riara Road with a boyfriend, an American. They were going for tea at the junction. A motorcycle came with 2 people and passed them, then stopped and waited for them. I think the passing was to do cognizance.
Right.
When they arrived where the people were with the motorbike, somebody pulls out a gun and asks the American boy to give a computer the boy was holding. The young man asked why. They turned the gun and pointed at my daughter. He then moved in and pushed my daughter out of the way of the barrel of the gun. They turned on this young man and just shot him.
This American boy?
The American boy that died on Riara Road. And then I received a phone call from my daughter. There's too much blood, Dad, and too much white mess, and I did not understand what he's talking about. So fortunately, the nurse took the phone from her and explained to me that the friend had just been shot. The young man eventually died. But what really disturbs me, one is the trauma the young girl is going through. She's in America right now, South Carolina. She went to bury the boyfriend. She hasn't come back. But what then disturbed me most is when she received this message, which she forwarded to me. My daughter is not in politics.
No.
So why is she supposed to keep quiet?
Mdomo yako, who is that?
That message was actually meant for me. Now, this was meant worse. I was discussing the same issue with a friend of mine over a cup of tea. He is a politician, very supportive of my ideas, supportive of Wetangula's ideas, because we work together. His name is Jack Wamboka. And he showed me exactly the same message from a different phone number sent to him on 9th of April. And that's what I'm saying. Has assassinations crept back? And if you look, the explanations, as I had explained to you, after the young man was shot, a few days later, a famous criminal by the name Ford was shot somewhere in Dagoret Corner. And the police explanation is he actually shot somebody, an American, on Riara Road and maimed a Chinese. The normal anatomy of explaining assassinations.
Yes.
And I took time when I talked to a friend of mine. I will not mention his name. He's a senior CID officer. Just to complain about what is going on, and that my feeling that I might be actually a target for assassination. And we discussed it in detail. And if you listen to his explanations, and he was quite sincere. He told me, you know, prisoners have been sending out a lot of messages. So the issues of messages, Cyrus, I'm tired, I've heard so many of them, but they are normally sent out by prisoners. I would expect a prisoner to send out a message of M-Pesa me some money.
Correct.
Or a con to get some money.
Correct.
You know?
Yes.
I wouldn't expect
To be warning you.
to be issuing
Threats.
a warning and threats that somebody should keep quiet. And you can see the death of Ford really fitting the anatomy of assassinations in Kenya. And that's why, as much as I say, Kuria, Moses, his statement, as I looked at it, was expression of his feelings, which you can't stop. But the dangerous thing in that statement, and that is what we must look at, is insinuations that political disputes can be settled through assassinations. That was the dangerous part of it. And if you look at the most basic probability that a prisoner would send a message and it ends up with my daughter after the boyfriend was murdered yesterday, I mean, the chances are nil.
Slim to none, yeah.
Yeah.
Nil almost.
They are nil. By the way, the same officer, I hold him in high esteem. He even had the courtesy, called me today and said, you know, we don't know what we'll do with motorcycle crimes. Exactly what happened to your daughter happened to a student today in Kayole. Today. But the only difference with what happened in Kayole, I would want to know whether the girl will receive a political message
The next day.
and also whether the parent is a politician.
So are you worried? Bottom line, are you worried?
Jeff, you cannot be quite comfortable in situations like this. And we have had Muchai being assassinated. We've had Juma the other day being assassinated. And we've seen historically assassinations taking place, even at the time of Ouko, where there was an issue with the molasses plant, a white-collar economic crime, him fighting over it, raising it, he's murdered, an introduction of some Swiss lady, Brenna, is brought in, and Dominica Iragi, and in the process, Oyugi is arrested, who happened to have been a friend of mine, and that he's in the cells, he wakes up, he's bleeding on his hand, and the people are walking out, meaning he had just been injected. He dies, and it becomes an explanation for his murder. Just as the criminals at the Nyayo Stadium were used to explain the assassination of Juma. Ford is being used to try and lower our guard by saying, you know, the criminal who did this on those roads.
Yeah.
So really, we have to be worried with the creeping back of political assassinations purposely to either kill information on white-collar economic crimes or silence opponents.
Do you think in the end we're going to find out who killed Jacob Juma? Are we going to find out his killers?
They've actually packed the case already. By, you know, initially we were told, you know, cartridge was recovered at the scene. A few days later, strangely, some cartridges are found.
Yeah.
And then a day or so later, some people are shot at Nyayo Stadium, and the cartridges fit those that were found.
Miraculously.
They could not, yeah, miraculously. And initially they could not be found. It was an assassination.
Was he a good friend?
He was a good friend.
You knew him well?
I took Juma to school at the Kenya Polytechnic. He lived in my house. I gave him fare like any other student every morning to go to school. So he's somebody I've known extremely well. Juma was just a free spirit. And I do not think his assassination can be justified by any wrongdoing he could have done.
Yeah.
I want to believe as a nation and the way we advanced, we can always negotiate our situations. If I am aggrieved, I can address it in court. If by discussing with you does not solve the issue, we can't turn that primitive, that the only way to settle scores is by assassination.
That's right.
Yes.
It is very primitive, you're
Yes.
right. Another note, did you ever give Deputy President William Ruto any fare? Did you ever give him fare money?
We shared money because we earned it together. And I didn't take him to school. He had already finished
That's
university.
right, that's right, yeah.
Yes. And he was a promising upcoming young man.
Yeah, but you sent him on errands.
Yeah, everybody will go flat out to help him.
Did you go send him on errands?
We work together. Let me not demean his office.
You have 1 minute.
Yes.
That camera over there. Talk to Kenyans going forward because of all the hate, because of where we're going in this election, where you live, and what you've seen. Talk to them. What do you tell them?
Simple. Our country is at crossroads. The decision is ours as Kenyans to ensure what is right is done, to ensure we have the right IBC, to ensure we elect correct leaders. Take time, understand your leaders, go flat out, ensure you have a voice in negotiating who will be your leader. The only way you negotiate it, take a vote, cast it, ensure it is counted, and that is your voice in the direction the Republic of Kenya shall go. That is my message to Kenyans.
Yeah, good message, Mheshimiwa, good message. By the way, there's a guy called V. Nyakeye. He says, tell Mheshimiwa we are sorry for the loss of his son-in-law.
Thank you so much.
That's what he says.
Thank you.
It's good to talk to you, man. It's been a while.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well done, man.
It's been a while also.
Yeah, I didn't know you were so eloquent, and so, you know.
Jeff, we've talked to you before. I've gone to school. Do you know? And by the way,
yes,
not a local school. A man coming from a village called Lumakanda to Mangu High School is not an ordinary brain. Let me blow my trumpet.
But would you... Okay, you haven't decided to run for president. You haven't decided yet. You're
discussing it. I'm consulting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, you know, let us know when you do. You could always come back here and announce it.
Any day, any time, I will.
Maybe I should bring you and KYM here.
Any day, any time.
Oh my. Somebody say, oh my.
Oh my. I've learned that one. It's a new one.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Keep tweeting at Cyrus Jirongo, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Jirongo. Tomorrow night, I understand we have a show, so please tune in. Inspiration Thursday. We're going to have a great story for you tomorrow night. Please make sure you tune in right here, Kenya's television network, KTN. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Good night. Good luck. And God bless. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Good stuff.